But good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. Uh, we we had initiated this Let's Talk NMB so that it would be a forum through which we could speak about what's happening within our community during this time. What exactly is North Miami Beach doing? What are our residents seeing? What exactly is happening? We've had some great guests who have shared uh, their experiences. They've shared what's happening here in the COVID-19 environment, um, the partnership with the city, and how we're moving things along and trying to operate in this unknown. We're happy that we have something like Zoom that we can get to have these conversations. And so I wanted to welcome today Evan Piper, who is the chairman of the president of our North Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce. We'll have a conversation today about what is the chamber doing in this environment. I'll tell you that probably 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks, who knows, because time is just running together. We happened to have had a conversation on a Friday evening going home. Sharon Ragunan, who's our assistant city manager, Evan, and myself. Basically, we're saying, what are we doing in this environment, and how can the chamber rally at the time just to get its members involved in this process, whether it's helping in any sort of a recovery or a maintenance period while we operate in the unknown, or simply where we are there members within the Chamber of Commerce who are doing some things that should be highlighted, or should gain some amount of exposure, or if not for anything else, rather than informational. And we started to have that conversation. And so I know Evan has rallied. We've had an opportunity to talk, and today is here to speak with our community. I'm going to leave it up to him to speak about the other members of the Commerce who are here with him. But at this time, I'd like you all to welcome Evan Piper, and we'll have a lively discussion here on Let's Talk NMB. Evan.
Okay, hey, good afternoon, and thank you for having me on today. I'm really pleased and honored to be on with you today. And I can't see everybody who's on, but I know that we have our executive director, Leslie Lowenthal, with us here today, who's been working tirelessly to do all the things that we're trying to do with the chamber before, under normal circumstances, and even now under not so normal circumstances. And I see we have our Vice President, Sylvia Vanni, with us. She's waving, okay. And other than that, I see we have a couple commissioners, but that's for you to introduce. But otherwise, chamber-wise, I think, am I missing anybody else chamber related? I think that's all we got for the moment. Speak up if I'm forgetting you. But otherwise, I guess as far as the chamber is concerned, obviously it was all this COVID-19 has been a big change for the chamber. So the way that our chamber operates, thinking about it, we're normally like a face-to-face having meeting type of operation. And then all of a sudden that just got completely shut down. So we've had to change to more of a virtual model. And that's been working out pretty well, all things considered. We've had a few virtual events. Of course, our board meetings have been done on Zoom. And we had a training where we were training people to learn how to use Zoom, because we figured, how can we have Zoom meetings without getting people to be able to use Zoom? And then after that, we've had a couple other events like cocktail parties, networking events, and that type of thing, as far as doing that virtually. So that's what we've been doing in the overall business model of the chamber. And then I'll talk to you about a couple other things in a moment that we're doing that are pretty exciting regarding how the chamber is giving back and how the chamber is supporting our members and other business people in the community. So I'll turn it back to you for a second, Esmond, so I don't keep just running on like a freight train.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Yes, yes, you're correct, Evan. At this time I'd really like to recognize the two commissioners who are on now. I know there's some others who are involved in some other things as we speak and may join us shortly. But wanted to recognize Commissioners Barbara Kramer and Fortuna Smuckler. Welcome and thank you for joining this Zoom talk. Evan, I am not a big subscriber, or probably I'm a guarded subscriber to just looking at what we're doing and looking at what others are doing and doing certain measures and saying, hey, listen, this is what we should do. If people are doing this with 5 widgets, then we need to do it with 5 widgets. I've always felt that one size doesn't fit all. And so we need to do things or explore things. Yes, the best practices are things to be looked at and to be lauded, and to make sure that we have even better best practices within North Miami Beach. And that has been my operation. So, you know, those of you who know me well will know that I'm not going to subscribe to the things just to say, okay, well, this is the norm. We have reached there, and now we can relax. But when I look at what's been done in other areas, okay, when I look at some of the innovative means, programs, ideas, and you know, I know it's shared on the American Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives. We see a lot that's happening in other areas, and so I'm asking you. I know you've got some exciting stuff that you've already done already. Some things that are ongoing in the pipeline, even just waiting to be unveiled. And I think now would be a good time for you to just tell us what those things are.
Okay. All right. So there's two components. One component is the business and support component, which I'll get into that in a moment. But I want to, let's start with the more fun part, if you will, and that has to do with the give back programs that we've been able to partner with the city on and have some great things happen. So one thing that we did was reached out to some of our restaurant members, and this is still an ongoing process, but over the last couple weeks, we've been able to get together with our member Morton's, the steakhouse, and arrange to have a situation where Morton's prepared a bunch of meals, and we were able to give them to the frontline workers over at Jackson North Hospital, who's another one of our members. And we, got together with the city, and we got together with the whole city staff, chamber staff, and we were able to have actually 2 really nice give back events over at Jackson North. So we did that. That went really well. Jackson North was really, really excited. As a matter of fact, Leslie told me maybe about 15, 20 minutes ago that she received a really, really nice letter from Jackson North talking about how happy they were for everything that the city and the chamber had done for them in that give back program. So that felt really good, and hopefully, on the other hand, it gives some benefit to our members with exposure, as well as obviously helping our other member Jackson and keeping the morale of their employees up. So that was one thing that we did that was really great. Another thing was another one of our members, which is PuraClean, and PuraClean is like in the disaster restoration and cleaning business. And so one of the things they've been doing a lot of now has been the sanitizing as a result of the COVID-19. And we arranged with the police department in the city, where PuraClean brought in several of their teams and did a sanitization of several areas of the police department. And we got some feedback. I believe that it was from Deputy Chief Prescott, who told us that everything PuraClean did a great job. They had a great attitude when they were there, and that it's been great for the areas that they've sanitized, and the people that work in the police department have been really happy, and it's been a great morale booster for them, knowing that people really care and people are willing to go out of the way for them to keep them safe and think about them. So that was another great thing that has come out of this. In addition, another one of our members, which is Costco, has donated Costco gift certificates so that and said to us, use these gift certificates to find a way to benefit first responders in the best possible way. And our executive director, Leslie, is working on some ways to most effectively do something with the police department. Probably going to have to be, it's probably going to be food related, and we're working on the complexities because the police, as you know, work in several different shifts, and we want to kind of reward all the shifts equally. So that's something else that we have going on. And lastly, there's another person that we're related to. Actually, it's the granddaughter of a very well-known architect in the area, Bob Swedrow. Her name is Ariel Swedrow. And she's a 16-year-old, I believe 16-year-old fashion designer. And she's going to have some designer type face masks that she's actually hand sewing, or however she's making them herself. And she's going to be donating those. I believe that they're going to be going to the police. So that's another thing we're putting together as well. And we're still reaching out to other restaurants and coming up with other ideas of other ways to give back. So that's, in a nutshell, what we've been doing in the give back end. I want to hear from you a little bit, and then we'll talk a little bit more about some of the ways we're supporting business.
Evan, I mean, I've always admired the way you approach things, because it seems now that you're interviewing me.
I'm sorry. You know my background, so. You know.
Yes. Well, you know, it's very clear that the Chamber of Commerce is there. It operates. It's how are you doing in terms of members, the membership, and how is that going?
Well, in general, you know, we've been steadily increasing our membership. We've been focused on, you know, really delivering value to our members. And of course, as well as that, the city being our biggest partner member, delivering value that way as well. Of course, with the most recent COVID thing, we've had to switch our model around a little bit, and so everything has still stayed the same, but it is definitely for the chamber. It's a time period where we have to really be careful and move with the times, because at the end of the day, our members are expecting value to stay members, and we want to make sure that we continue to provide that value, and that's why we've moved to some of these virtual platforms and done virtual events so that our members will see that value. And as the situation changes, as you know, it's very fluid. We hope to keep shifting in that way to make sure that, you know, that maximum value is presented. And along those lines, what we're seeing is that for sure, as this thing cleans up and progresses, the members are going to be affected in some way, shape, or form. At the end of the day, business is just not going to be done the same as it was before. And we're trying to be supportive to our members in showing them and supporting them and kind of getting everybody together so that we're as best prepared as possible to continue doing business most effectively in this new environment that we're all going to be faced with. So what's your thoughts about that before I continue? I don't want to just keep talking like I'm having a...
I want to, you know, Evan, I wanted to touch a little bit on that, because you and I spoke this morning, and, you know, we're talking about small businesses, many small businesses that are within the Chamber of Commerce, and the things that are happening in this environment. As a businessman, a well-accomplished businessman, I know you have some ideas, and you and I had shared in our discussion, you know, how businesses should really approach their tenure in this in this COVID-19 time period. You want to share a little bit more of that with everyone online?
Yeah, I do. So the first thing that we've been encouraging and supporting people with is to get what's available to us out there. And the first thing, of course, is whatever type of federal government assistance is out there. For example, the EIDL loans and the PPP loans. So those are two things that we've been encouraging everybody to do. Now, what I see happening now is these loans are being funded. I see that the business owners are getting the loans, and then they want to like celebrate like they just won the lottery. And now I'm really creating a new awareness where I want people to realize that the big benefit of these loans is getting the loan forgiven, not having to pay it back. In order to get the loan forgiven, the loan must be used in a certain way. Basically, there's 75% of it has to go to payroll, and then 25% can go to some operational expenses that are clearly defined.
Oh.
So the big part of that is, number one, being careful that that money is spent properly so you don't end up having to pay the money back. But really more importantly, that money has to be spent in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't want people to get in that feeling where, okay, I've got my loan, I'm all good, and I don't have to worry anymore. And the point is that that's not going to change the situation. All it's going to do is give you some payroll to pay your employees that you may or may not need those employees right now. So it's not really, it is of benefit, and every little bit helps for sure. And if you're operating, but the main thing is really thinking ahead and saying, what are we going to do with our business in the longer term? What do we have to do to adapt to the new normal? So that's really my biggest push right now that I want people to have awareness of.
Good, and that's good. What kinds of other changes, or rather programming, are you seeing in other Chamber of Commerce, in other chambers? And what are some of those that probably you'll take from those other chambers to implement within yours that you think would really benefit the city of North Miami Beach?
Well, without being too boastful, I really think that of all the chambers around that we see, I think that we're really the most progressive and most on the cutting edge. We're doing the most creative type of things. We happen to be fortunate that we have board members that have a lot of very valuable background. We've got one of our board members, our treasurer, is a banker who's very, very knowledgeable. And she's got a lot of experience with the PPP and other loans. So having that experience and being able to share her experience with our members is extremely powerful. One of our other board members is an attorney who has a lot of experience in that area. We've got other business people. Myself, not only being a very, very long-term experienced business person with multiple businesses, but also being a business consultant and business coach and trainer and speaker and all that other kind of stuff is also really valuable. So I think that other chambers, a lot of them are following the things that we're doing. But I think that we're really trying to get out there and approach it from as many different angles as possible. Now, they may disagree that I think that we're the best chamber around, but it'd be hard to do that. So.
Okay, thanks. At this time, before I open it for any questions or that we may have from those on the panel, I wanted to recognize Mayor DiFilippo, who has joined us, and also Commissioner Smith, who has joined us as well. So if there are any questions at this time, I'd just like to open it to those of you who are on mute, and then go back on mute. Thank you.
I'd like to make a comment, Mr. Manager.
Sure.
You know, when I first became elected, we maybe had,
Commissioner Smith, we're listening.
okay, I'm talking. I'm on. I shouldn't be on mute.
Commissioner Smith?
You're good. We hear you, Commissioner Smith. We hear you. I think
Okay.
that the manager may have a weak connection, but we hear you.
Okay. Well, when I first became a commissioner, there may have been, without exaggeration, 5 members. And when you go now and you see under the present board and under the hard work of Evan Piper and his staff, the incredible difference where people are asking, what day is it? I don't want to miss it. There's at least 85 people, sometimes 100, sometimes 65, but the majority of the time it's close to 100. And that is, the more people that come, the more business you do, the more you get known. And that is just a reflection on this board, this chamber that we have currently. So I just wanted to make that note and to thank them.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Smith.
Yeah,
Are there
thank
any
you.
other hands that are up? Did I just hear the mayor? Okay, sorry. Well, let me share something with you. In the next 4 minutes that we have, I just want to share a number with you, as I do every day. Just want to thank the staff for the tremendous work that they're doing with the census. And Evan, I wanted to, before that, I just want to turn it over. I'm going to ask you a little bit, just to speak a little bit about the efforts of the census within your area, because I know Elaine is involved with the chamber. But I wanted to share with everyone that usually we're inching up by a point, very small percentage of a point from day to day. Over the last 2 days, we've inched up by 1.3 percentage. So now we're at 48% in terms of our 47.7% rather, in terms of the response rate to the census. And that's a number I share every day, Evan, while we are online. In getting together with members, because clearly you have a great and varying folks who are in the chamber that represents the membership. And what are you hearing from them right now as their greatest area of concern?
Well, you know, the thing, of course, over the last couple months, the areas, you know, it's funny how areas of concern change really quickly. So, you know, at one point, a couple months ago, there's one set of concern, and then all of a sudden, when survival comes into play, there's a whole new set of concerns.
Yes.
You know, so I think that beforehand, which is not as relevant right now, was, you know, what can people do in their businesses to improve to another level? It was more along the lines of, you know, we're doing okay. How can we do better? What can we do to do better?
Yeah.
Correct. It's up leveling was really what the point was. And then now there's the concern, there's the uncertainty, there's the how do we survive type portion of that. So that's really, I think right now, and at least probably for the next, you know, few months or maybe longer, is really being there to do everything we can to help businesses survive and figure out how to, you know, get through all of this. I do know that there's going to be more fallout as time goes on, you know, because right now we haven't really seen everything start unraveling to the extent, you know, it's the fallout hasn't happened to the greatest extent yet. So that's the biggest concern. By the way, the census that you were talking about, you know, the chamber has been promoting, you know, through all of our marketing channels, the census to give awareness and to beg people to please do it and to try to get the importance to it. Of course, a lot of our members individually, even though their businesses live in North Miami Beach, they don't individually live in North Miami Beach, you know, census wise. So.
Right. I know. And I want to thank you for the efforts. I knew that there was stuff that you were doing. Just wanted to bring that out. I'd like to find out, Evan, what is your membership like, and how do you plan to grow it? Especially, what is the value of the Chamber of Commerce in this period to businesses that are out there that are probably feeling a crunch? How can you reach out to them just to let them know that there's a Chamber of Commerce that has resources and has some knowledge, skills, and abilities to help them during this time period? What is your game plan on that?
Well, what we've been doing from the very beginning of this is we've been reaching out to our members first and letting them know that we are here and what things can we do for them to help them with their business and giving them suggestions. And the people that are on the chamber mailing list, they'll see that we've got, like different deals that different businesses are offering in spite of what's going on. So we're trying to do everything we can. I think in the long run, we just want them to know that we're here as a supportive, I guess, a support system for them, really a support system, but more than that, a knowledgeable support system, not just a shoulder to cry on, but a knowledgeable shoulder that can give them some guidance. So that's really, I think, the most valuable thing that we can do right now for our members.
Great. And I know we have a very short time period, but I just want to ask you, some members may be not as sophisticated to access the federal state grants. Is the chamber doing anything, offering some sort of assistance to those smaller businesses to help them navigate through this period?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we've been reaching out to our members, and I know myself, all the members that I'm speaking to, I'm asking them and saying, are you taking advantage of everything that you can be taking advantage of? And when I hear that they're not, then I make sure that I give them the tools and put them in the right direction and give them whatever coaching I can to help them get through the process and get the process done. Matter of fact, we even have a member on this call with us right now who I just won't mention the name, who's had the same situation even as recently as a week or two ago. In a conversation with them, realized that they had not realized that they were really could be a benefit of the PPP loan. And then I gave them all the steps they needed, and now they're awaiting funding. So it's that type of thing that we're trying to do. So
great. Well appreciated.
And what I really want to end with, though, is that it's that the loan is not the savior. The loan is a help. And at the end of the day, the only way that you're going to make sure your business survives and thrives is by taking action. If you're sitting home and you're waiting for loans and you're waiting for handouts, those handouts do not go a long way. Those handouts go away very, very quickly. So you need to be working on that new plan, and you need to be taking action on what you're going to do about it, because otherwise you will have a problem, I assure you.
Great. Thank you so much. I think we have about 2 minutes left, Evan. Thank you. And I know Leslie's hand is up, so I want to recognize Leslie.
I just wanted to let everybody know that on Wednesday, May 13th, we're going to be having a panel, and the panel is on banking, business, and legal as it applies to anyone's COVID questions. So we encourage everybody to come join us. We've got a great group of panelists, including our president, Evan Piper, and the details are on our website under events.
Leslie, we'll make sure that we plug that on our social media platform as well. That's a very good thing to hear. I think I have less than a minute left, but I see Commissioner Kramer has her hand up. So Commissioner.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and kudos to getting Evan on here. I think he needs to come on more often because we do have a lot of information for our residents, but our business owners are very important to our city and the growth of our city. And there's a lot of information we can give them, some helpful tips as Evan's done here today. Unfortunately, I don't see a lot of businesses on this, and I think we need to advertise better, do this again and again, probably on a weekly basis. I think it's extremely important. the knowledge we have to help people through this really, really, really trying time for businesses, especially new businesses. This is not like the 2008, 2009 recession. This is totally different. People, the lights were just turned off. And we need to help out as much as we can, the best way that we can, which I think information is a great start.
Commissioner, you couldn't have said it better. Yes, it's before the lights get turned off, and you're right, because it's time to wrap up right now. But Evan, you'll definitely be back because you're part of that lifeline and bloodline of the city and linking the city with its small businesses. Thank you so much for being on here today. You'll definitely be back. We'll send something to have you on at another time, and very soon, by the way. So thank you all for being here. Tomorrow we will have Chef Ivan from Ivan's Cookhouse. We'll lead the way in feeding some of the first responders at Jackson. Then on Wednesday we'll have Rodney Baltimore from Hot 105. We'll speak a little bit about his experience and what's going on in the COVID-19 period. And then on Thursday we'll have Alex Finney, news reporter, just to talk about COVID-19 and her experiences. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you all tomorrow on Let's Talk NMB. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.